How are you all doing? Ralfy of Ralfy Customs. This was meant to be Monday's vlog, but I've just looked back through it as I'm editing it, and it's just a load of fucking engineering and turning and cutting and drilling and machining. Have a look. Come on, baby. It's raining. So we did it. We absolutely did it. There's 3 video series up on that there tube. By the time you get round to seeing this, I've got left to do. These 2 rear threads are fucked. They need inserts. Every single disc bolt, bar 1, is fucked. They need inserts. And we need to source a caliper and make a plate to adapt it and fit it and sort that out. That'll be the front end, absolutely done. We're going to mothball that for a while we crack on with other stuff. My 2 daughters are here, one's in the loo and one's being tattooed. So thought I'd drop that in there, hiding away from Dad's camera. And that's a bit of that. So I'm just cutting some supports out of this angle line. And I'm going to go on top of the box section that's under that frame to lift it clear of the shit that's hanging underneath. Like, there's a spring bolt that's stopping me setting it flush, so this will do the job nicely. So there we built that up. Look, we've got to set it up properly and we'll tack it all down and hold it towards itself. I'm not doing any full planning on doing any geometry alterations, so it matters little where it sits on the bench. It just needs holding true so I can get the motor in, and then we can measure up for the back wheel. Don't know why I've gone all northern. We can measure up mech spaces for the back wheel and sort all that shit out, and go from there. What this always reminds me of, you see this angle line that I've used as little packers now. Many years ago, me and a good friend of mine, Sean Blockley, who I don't think will see this, but you never know. If you're watching, Blockhead, lots of love to you. We used to work at Goodwin and Barsby's. I'm going to turn this round. So we used to work at Goodwin and Barsby's. Right, this was back in the 80s, and 1980s, obviously, and they made quarry plant. So they made crusher bodies. I don't think they did conveyors, but they made sifting machines, all sorts for quarries where they dig stone and crush it, like, and make it into roadstone and gravel and all the sort of shit that people buy. We used to weld. We were welders. And one of the jobs with these massive crusher bodies, they used to get 40 or 50 hours to weld solid. You'd be welding, and they had. The only way I can describe it is a big square thing, like a big fuck-off cube, made out of solid steel, fucking 100mm steel, so 4-inch thick or 6-inch thick bits. And they must have weighed about fucking 20 tons, these things. And we used to stand them on edge, like that, at 45 degrees, and use angle line sprags, they were called, that you tack on the top, and it'd lean against the side, like, and the other side to stop it falling over. So you get the big overhead crane would come along, you'd shout, mate, Gupta, and his name was Gupta. We weren't being racist, although we were racist. We'd shout him, fucking crane, oh, and they'd bring the overhead crane, and you'd put these chains on, and he'd point at where you wanted them, because he knew how to lift and twist and turn, and you'd strap them up with these chains and fucking roll them onto the side at 45 degrees, like balancing 20 ton on a fucking knife edge, and then sprag it with these angle line sprags, and work your way around it welding. Fucking crazy. You couldn't do it today. If every one of them sprags went, you'd be fucking jam. Now, these are the wedges that fit on my jig. And there's it's not my, I didn't make it. It's not my jig, it is my jig, but I didn't make it. And I didn't make these wedges that, it doesn't matter on this job. Like I said, I'm doing no geometry, but that's a bit too big. We need a bit more of the taper poking out, and that's too small. So it's like the fucking three bears. We need the Goldilocks moment, don't we? And it's not the first time I've had this, using this. So what I've decided is, remember this fucking hydraulic ram? I've got loads of this shit, different sizes. I'm gonna, look, that's about right. That about carries on. We could cut your taper, couldn't we? We could. And bore it out, and then we'll have it. So, fuck it. Am I doing it? I am. Why not? Spend a couple of hours now, and it will save me a lot more hours later. We need to lube this up, because the outer casing, the outer fucking chroming on this is tough as fuck. So we'll get it cut, and we'll get over in the lathe, and get on it. Oh, I've had to give up on that bit. I'm cutting that thin bit, but carried on. Where is it? I've had to go with some that's the same size and remake them, because I couldn't cut the fuck off. I left it 5 minutes, and all they did was made a clean spot on the fucking tray. So, fucks if I know what's going on there. Take two. Righto. This is for that upside down front end. These, look. I've got 4 of them. I wasn't happy. You might, if you watch the video series, you'll see that I made some bolts up for the yokes, and in the end, the depth that I was getting on the thread, and I wanted a bit of shoulder that I didn't have, and this and the other, I decided to fuck it. We'll go for some nice stainless 50mm with a bit of a shoulder bolt type thing. That'll do it nicely. I just need to turn the heads down like I did the others. So I need them to be 15mm or a little bit under, and at the minute I think they're about 16.5. Oh, 16.25. So we need 1.25mm off. 1.25mm, which is 50 thou in old money. So I thought I'd come over and use the little atlas for a bit. Get one done. So we'll just touch on. About there, we're on 50 thou. Now this is 100 thou gauge, so if I turn the gauge to 50, then when I'm back to 0, we should be good. I'm just gonna turn it up a gear, change up a gear, look. Right, so we'll go, give us a 10 thou to start with. Just level it up. Hey, that's not happening, is it? It's pushing the nuts. I'm not tight enough in me chuck, look. Schoolboy error there. I'm fucking about getting the camera set up and doing this shit at the same time. We'll have a 10 thou cut. And we'll do that at 20 thou off. A lot of flex in these. That's 30 thou cut, so that's 60 thou off, which is a bit under what I want. Oh, get the fucking spring look. I've not turned the dial again. There we go. That should be now at under 15mm. 14.5. That'll do me. That'll do me. So that's 30 thou on the gauge, which is 60 thou cut. And I'll just break the edge. Give it a little bit of a polish. Over there. 3 of them, 3 more of them, and the job's a good one. Back to the Triumph. I've done a little bit of working out, look. Some measuring and calculus, all that, and worked out the back wheel's offset. So you can see look, there's loads poking out outside and fuck all poking out outside. It's 22 millimeters different, so 7/8 of an inch near enough different on the drive side. So to keep the wheel in the middle, we need to make offset wheel spaces. So as we do our finest engineering drawings. Here they are. It's going to use a bit of 1¼ EN8, so it's tough enough to do the job, soft enough to care. One's 35, one's 13. Now the 35 one might need a bracket weld into it for the back brake, or take it out and cut it up, you know, alter it to mount the back brake, depending on how it goes with it. But EN8 will weld, so it's a good choice. And we also need to make 2 wheel bearing spacers, adapters if you like. We need to, the frame set up for a 19mm spindle, a 3/4 of an inch spindle, 19.24 whatever it is. But the wheel bearings for these wheels come out at 24.9 on the ID. So I'm going to make some little adapters out of the same EN8 that press into the bearing and reduce it down to 3/4 of an inch for the wheel spindle. So there you go. Okay, so we've got a nice fresh tip in, and we've got the EN8 in. We've faced off and we just took a quick clean up pass, and we need to cut 3.59 millimeters off this diameter to get it down to size, and then we need to bore it out with 3/4 bar. So let's get cutting. Then we can take a couple of millimeters off. I do it 2, 1 and a half. 2, 1, then 1/2, if that makes sense. So there's 2. And that's crept. I can see that the bar's moved back without cut. It's actually crept back a little bit, just 1/4 millimeter. Now we've got another 1mm cut. Which is a lot kinder one, all involved. And now we've got the last 0.59. There we go. Yeah. We'll just touch on the face. Like that. 0 at 0. And now we'll move along to the 15mm mark, which is bang on. We're bang on there, there's nothing on there. We square that up. Kiss that with a file. And we're ready to bore out. Now we'll put a centre drill in there, get things started. Now a 10mm pilot hole. I like this here now. The machine's up lovely. And now in with a 3/4, which is a bit of a squealer, so have to bear with until it gets going, then it settles down. Funny boy, like. That's that down to length. Now we just need to deburr the inside of the hole, pop that off. we've made one. Just break that front edge. So there we go. There we made them. Little one on the sprocket side, and we know that got 13 millimeters from this, the inside of this axle plate to the sprocket, and a fat one for the other side. And we've got the little top hats that go in the fucking wheel bearing to adapt it down to the 19mm. As soon as the stock comes, we can make a spindle, and there you go, job's a good one. Yeah, you're just joining me as I'm finishing off. Turn that off. The front wheel spindle, as per my always exhaustive drawing and design. I didn't film it because you've seen me do it all. Then it struck me that you've not really seen me use this tailstock die holder, which is a blessing. Not you not seeing it's not a blessing. The bit of kit itself's a blessing. Brilliant. So I've just cut a thread. We'll have it off. Look, back it winds itself. And the fucking thread, M12 that is, if I can get it to focus. No, come on. Come on, focus. Focus. Oh well. It's fucking beaut. And what a good bit of kit. Okay folks, right, what you've got here is this spindle I've just made, spacer, that goes through the wheel bearings obviously, but then it steps down to go through a bush in the plate on these springers. This bush actually is on both sides. Yeah, take that nut off. And I cut a 12mm thread on the end, M12, and I figure that Dean can get some spiky fucking acorn type, these sorts of things, or I'm going to end up making some, which I'm easy either way. Anyway, so you got the spacer that goes on the spindle, and then that butts in, the gap goes in between the two blades, those two blades, yeah, and that will sit the wheel in there. And the reason I've not built it up is because it's a bit of a fucking handful, to be honest, and I thought I'd leave it leaning there quite nicely until we're ready. But that's what I've just finished making. Which side are we on? Don't know which side the wheel goes, which way round it goes just at the minute. I think it goes in that way, but with no provision, I think it goes in the other way actually. With no provision for brakes on the front there. Not sure what's going to happen about that. Anyway, so there you go. That's what I've been up to. So there you go. We've finished on the lathe. We've done the back wheel spindle. No, we've not. We've done the back wheel spacers. Yeah, the bearing, these adapters, and the wheel spacers ready for when the spindle material comes. We've done the front wheel spindle, as I've just shown you. We've done a little bit more titillation on decks, and the heavens have absolutely fucking opened up. So we've got the floods in a little bit because it's just absolutely Pislington Downs outside at the minute. It's fucking, you can't hear it, but it's fucking piss wet. Anyway, there you go. That's the beginning of my week spent in Engineering Corner. We've done a bit of this and that. If you like what you see, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Check out my friends in the description below. And thanks for watching. Lots of love everyone. See you soon.